So for this we'll use whatever size ball you've got, which fits in the palm of your hand, or an apple. If you don't have that, something that would roll will work. And then if it's hard for you to be on the floor, like in cat type postures, which can be quite tiring for this, I recommend using a chair or a table. You might have a table handy. I've got my desk here. We're going to do this kind of rolling motion on a flat surface. If you're in your bedroom, you could use a softer surface. You can put a book on top of it, and that will work as well. So it's quite nice to have an easy reach surface. You could kneel in front of a chair or stand in front of a chair or a table. That's quite nice. So if you have trouble kneeling, you can stand. I'm going to kneel just for this bit, so that means I'm a bit closer to the camera and you can see me, and you can do this standing as well. So it really doesn't matter too much what your starting position is here. You could even do it against a wall, and then you'd be touching more lightly, and it would work your shoulder in a different way. So again, you can experiment, and depending on what your house is like, what spaces you've got, what furniture you've got. And so we can start with rolling the hand over the ball very lightly. Especially if you've got pain in your hands, in your joints there, you can start lightly or with a very soft ball. Mine is quite hard. And it's key to relax the fingers and the thumb. So the thumb can kind of brush the floor, the fingers can brush the floor. So we're aiming to relax the muscles that organize the thumb and the fingers. And it's often the thumb joint where people have pain and where there's stiffness. And then you can see, feel really, check out if you can maybe press down a bit more, and whether that feels helpful and useful. And you can do the other hand, so swapping sides. You don't have to do this for very long to get some benefit. You can close your eyes to feel more easily and notice what you're feeling through your sense of touch rather than what you're seeing with your eyes. And then the next step could be, see how you go, to bring the ball to the center of the palm of the hand, to let the hand relax over it, and then put the other hand on top, and then press down, so putting a bit of weight on it. And if you're standing, you could probably potentially put more weight through it. Stay in a zone where it's comfortable. It might feel slightly achy in a good way. You've got to be the judge of that, like what feels usefully achy, like a deep tissue massage. And we can try the other hand as well. A bit of a shake out. Try the other hand. In one of my videos I do this on the floor with a cat pose. Again, then you can put more weight through it more easily. This is gentler, or against the wall would be gentler. And we can release again. If it's okay for you to come up to standing, you could do this next one standing. So here we have the feet a bit wider than hip width apart, and the hands again in this position where we're putting some weight through the ball. You can bend your knees, you can take a bit more weight in your feet if you need to, or you can put more weight into the ball by going forwards. And holding that whilst turning the head from side to side, just 2 or 3 times. And then coming up to standing for a moment, shaking it out. And then having the other hand at the bottom. Turning the head from side to side 2 or 3 times. And then standing and shaking again. And then we can do this once more if it still feels okay for you to use the ball. And this time moving the hips. I'll just move myself a little bit so you can see better. So I've got my ball here, resting on it, my feet quite wide, leaning my weight, and then I'm going to take my hips from side to side. So it's a bit of a side bend actually, sides of the waist, just 2 or 3 times. And stand and release and shake out. And then the other hand on the bottom, relaxing the fingers and the thumbs. And shifting the hips from side to side. And then shaking out again. And then we can come to standing. Or you were standing probably, but standing upright. And noticing how our body feels now. How you're breathing. Being aware of your feet. Being aware of your hands. So when we're working on our hands, we're working on our arms, we're working on our shoulders, we're working on our necks. We're working on integrating all of that with our hips, our legs, and our feet as well. So it's beneficial for the whole body. And we'll do something similar for the feet. So you could take your socks off if you're wearing socks, or I've got sort of sock slippers on. If your feet are warm enough, you can take them off. And we'll do a standing rolling of the ball under the feet. Do use something to help you balance if that's needed, the wall or the chair. And we're going to start by just rolling forwards and back a few times from the heel to the middle toe. Again, this could be done seated. done this seated in other sessions. Really feeling the sole of your foot, the center line of the sole of your foot. Keeping the knee and the ankle and the hip moving in line with each other. There'll be a bit of wobbling. Again, you could do this over a rolling pin. That would work too. You can use different size balls, just as with the hands. And when we've done a few, we can rest on the ball with the center of the foot, with the heel on the ground. You can put a bit of weight on it, and again you could do this with a rolling pin instead, or anything that rolls. Show you that as well. Really feeling the arch. And then you can also let it go back a little bit towards your heel so that your toes are on the ground, the ball or the rolling pin. As much weight as feels comfortable enough. And then we'll pop that foot on the floor to notice any difference between that foot and the other one. Do the same on the other side. So rolling from the heel to the middle toe, roughly, feeling the center line of the foot. And then putting some weight down through the center of the foot, the heel on the ground. Noticing how that feels. And then the toes on the ground. And then coming back to standing on the floor. Noticing standing in mountain posture, arms, shoulders, hips, legs, feet. Stacking the hips over the ankles and the arches of the feet supporting us. Shoulders over the hips, head perched. And then bringing the backs of the hands together in front of the belly, navel area. Taking a breath out and then breathing in. Coming up, pausing, breathing out, finishing the circle. Little pause there, and breathing in. Going into a gentle back bend again, feeling that sense of the breath being a bit more expansive. And then completing the circle, pausing at the end of the exhale, aware of the center of the body. Breathing in, extending up and out. Pausing with full lungs. And then breathing out. Doing a couple more of these in your own breathing tempo. Opening up. Feeling the fullness of the lungs. And then complete exhale. Stillness at the end of the exhale. in again. Maybe having a sense of everything being quite integrated from the feet up to the breath to how we're using our arms. And then taking a forward bend, standing forward bend, or seated. You could sit down if you've got any back problems. You could bend your knees or do it on a chair. Letting go. And how is it to breathe out fully here and to breathe in deeply here in this forward bend? As you come back up, be aware of your feet on the ground, kind of pushing down through the feet to come up with the upper body. Lovely. And then interlacing the fingers, taking the arms up, perhaps keeping the elbows a little bit bent. Notice what feels freer for your shoulders, softening the knees, and taking a side bend, breathing out into the side bend, and then a breath in whilst you're there. Exhaling to the other side. Next exhale back to the center, taking the hands down, changing the interlace so your other thumb is on top. Taking the arms up, exhaling to one side, inhaling deeply, exhaling to the other side, inhaling deeply. And back to center, release. A mini squat with a little bit of a bounce to release your arms again. Relax kind of around your hips and your groin. Relaxing here. Maybe letting your head wobble about a bit. Excellent. And then we can just do a little arm swing forwards and back with a knee bend. Feeling your feet on the ground and how your arms and shoulders move, how your rib cage moves. Core muscles going into a bit of a twist. And then making that movement smaller. Smaller and smaller. And coming back to mountain pose. Noticing the sensations in your body and how you're breathing. Hopefully this was a nice way to stimulate our breath, stimulate various ways of opening the body, waking up the joints, integrating everything so you feel a bit more ready for the day and can take this awareness into your day.